Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped you're joining us. We've got a seriously fascinating topic lined up: adaptations and the divine design for survival and resilience. A huge welcome to all the 8th graders tuning in, and of course, a big shout out to the parents and educators learning right alongside us. Today, we're unpacking exactly how life is perfectly equipped by God to not just survive, but to actually flourish in some of the most brutal environments on the planet. We're going to dive into the science of survival and see how it beautifully reflects the wisdom baked into creation. So let's just jump right in.
Real quick, here's our roadmap for today. First, the key to survival. Then, we'll hit the 3 types of adaptations. Number 3, nature's amazing toolkit. Fourth, divine design and compassion. And finally, number 5, education with morality.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the key to survival.
I want you to just stop and really picture this for a second. How in the world does life survive in the absolute harshest places on Earth? I mean, we're talking about scorching deserts where a drop of water is basically a miracle, pitch-black oceans with literally crushing pressure, or icy mountain peaks where the wind chill is just off the charts. Yet, against all odds, life doesn't just exist in these extremes, it finds a way to absolutely thrive. But, how? Well, the secret is adaptation. Now, 8th graders, if you've got a notebook handy, grab your pen because you're going to want to jot this down for your homework. An adaptation is a physical, behavioral, or internal trait that helps an organism survive, reproduce, and pass on its traits in its environment. So the really key takeaway here is that it's not just about barely scraping by, right? It's about being so perfectly suited to a habitat that an animal or plant can successfully have offspring and hand those winning survival traits right down to the next generation.
Moving right along to Section 2, 3 types of adaptations.
So, to make this easy to digest, we can actually sort adaptations into 3 distinct buckets. Think of this as your mental roadmap for the science half of our explainer. Bucket number 1, structural adaptations. These are the physical features you can actually see, like the shape of a bird's beak or the super thick fur on a polar bear. Bucket number 2, behavioral adaptations. These are the actions an organism takes. It's what they actually do to stay alive, like a bear hibernating through a freezing winter. And finally, bucket number 3, physiological adaptations. Now, these are internal functions. This is the stuff happening deep under the hood, like a human sweating to cool down on a hot day.
But how do these traits get so incredibly fine-tuned? Well, it's a process. Step 1, an organism has to face and overcome some kind of intense difficulty in its environment. Step 2, the ones that happen to have traits that let them do that, they survive and reproduce. And then here comes the magic step 3. They pass down those successful, stronger traits to their babies. Over countless generations, through this amazing process called natural selection, a species just gets better and better suited to wherever it lives.
All right, on to Section 3, nature's amazing toolkit. Let's actually map out our 3 buckets with some real-world animals. We've got the Arctic fox showing off a structural adaptation, the snake demonstrating a physiological one, and the bird giving us a perfect behavioral adaptation. Hey, 8th graders, listen up. This chart right here is basically a cheat sheet that answers several of your homework questions all at once. So let's zoom in and see exactly how each of these works in the wild.
First up, look at the Arctic fox. This is a brilliant example of a structural adaptation. It uses its stark white fur for camouflage in the snow. Think about it. If you live out on a barren, snowy tundra, sticking out like a sore thumb means you're either going to be someone's lunch or the prey you're trying to sneak up on will spot you from a mile away and just bolt. By growing this incredibly thick white coat, the fox basically becomes a ghost, blending right into the snowbanks. It's a visible, physical feature that perfectly solves a massive survival problem.
Okay, next up, the snake. Now, their big adaptation is physiological, meaning it's all happening internally. Snakes produce venom. Now, why is that such a game changer? Well, snakes don't exactly have arms or legs to wrestle their dinner to the ground, right? Instead, they use this incredibly complex internal chemical function to quickly and safely paralyze their prey with just one strike. And here's the crazy fact. That venom actually kickstarts the digestion process from the inside out before the snake even swallows. It is a literal chemical marvel hidden right there inside their bodies. And for our 3rd example, let's look at birds, which showcase a classic behavioral adaptation. Many birds migrate thousands of miles every single year. Now, this isn't a physical change to their bodies, and it's not some internal chemical reaction. It's an action. It is this deeply hardwired instinct that pushes them to fly just mind-boggling distances when the seasons change. And why go through all that exhausting effort? To find reliable food sources and to secure safe, warm nesting grounds to raise their babies. It's an action entirely built around survival.
Let's shift gears a bit for Section 4, Divine Design and Compassion.
I want you to listen to this absolutely beautiful verse from Psalm 145, verse 9. The Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all he has made. You see, when we study these incredible adaptations, we're not just looking at cold, random biology. We are actually witnessing a reflection of God's creative genius and careful design. Whether we're talking about the camouflage of that Arctic fox, the complex venom of the snake, or the incredible migration of a bird, these survival tools reflect pure compassion. God made absolutely sure that even in the most brutal, unforgiving environments on Earth, life has exactly what it needs to not just survive, but to flourish.
And honestly, this is where the science lesson becomes super personal. Adaptations prove to us that life can overcome obstacles and adapt with grace over time. And just like those animals are perfectly equipped for their harsh environments, God has given every single creature, and yes, that 100% includes you, the specific gifts needed to survive and thrive. You are uniquely equipped for whatever environment you find yourself in. So, be encouraged. Face your challenges head-on, adapt with grace, and really focus on growing your spiritual resilience. Most importantly, use those totally unique traits you've been given to serve the people around you and to glorify God.
Finally, let's land the plane with Section 5, Education with Morality. This right here is the whole core philosophy of why we learn together. On one side of the coin, you have education without morality. Think about it. What is the actual point of being the smartest person in the room, getting straight A's in science and math, if you're just going to keep making bad moral choices that hurt yourself and the people you love? Education without a moral compass, it basically just leads to a lot of pain. But flip the coin and we have education with morality. This is what happens when you intertwine biblical truth with your everyday learning. It's how you build true character, unstoppable spiritual resilience, and wisdom that actually lasts. There's this incredible promise tucked away in Romans 8:6-7. It actually promises true peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. Let's be real, in a world that is full of stress, anxiety, and incredibly challenging environments, having genuine peace of mind is arguably the ultimate adaptation. It is the exact thing that allows you to stay grounded, calm, and resilient, no matter what kind of crazy difficulties life throws your way. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you all with a final question to chew on. You've seen firsthand how nature perfectly adapts to survive, and you know without a doubt that you've been designed with your own set of incredible gifts. So, how are you going to use your God-given traits and your spiritual resilience to thrive in the world today? Seriously, think about that as you finish up your homework tonight, and keep your eyes peeled for the amazing ways life has been perfectly equipped to flourish all around you. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning with me today, and I will see you in the next explainer.